Happy Friday, guys. Welcome in. We got a nice little weekend coming up. You guys know some of these weekend slates have been a lot of division games. Got a few of those, some rivalry matchups. Hey, NBA news has been taking the storm already this weekend. John, I don't know if you saw it. Morant, 25-game suspension. Jordan sells the Hornets. So we will get to baseball there. And yesterday got a winner on the board, John. The Guardians pull it out. So hopefully that can be the start of something. A couple of losing days in a row, but a pretty nice weekend series coming up here, John.
Yeah, when you go in bed, you go in bed. So after a 5 spot in the first inning, Padres answer with 3 back, and you just get the feeling like, here we go again. A couple of tough one-run losses up until that point. Just watching the board right now because we're still looking at some games. But yeah, hey, back on the right side of the ledger with a Guardians plus 115 winner last night, and we'll leave off with that good note. Heading into the weekend, I've already made 2 bets. Definitely have one more. Lean to 2 others. We'll see where those go. Like I says, as always, guys, it depends on lineups and where the line moves. And when we get down to the last game, we'll elaborate more on that. So let's get started. Ben, big card to go.
Yep, big card. One of these divisional matchups. First one is Marlins going up against Washington. Marlins coming off a win at Seattle on Wednesday. They went 3-3 or 3-3 on the trip so far. Meanwhile, this Washington team 2-8 their last 10, not playing good ball. Miami absolutely owns them. 18 of the last 22 meetings, all 3 this season. 8 of 10 at Washington last season. Alcantara dominated them 4-0, .90 ERA in 5 starts. Williams has been solid. He's allowed 2 runs in 5 innings and a win against Atlanta his last time out. I had 7 shutout innings against them last year. Had a quality start versus the Marlins earlier this year. Just got to still give Alcantara the pitching edge there with that ownership. Yes, he hasn't been as good as he was last year. Not as drastic of a pitching edge as it should have been, but still has to have that. You absolutely owned them last year. So you add in the team ownership, pitching ownership. Tough to buck the trend. Nats or nobody, but not getting involved here, John.
Yeah, it's as Ben says, it's pitching owner owns them. The team owns them. Marlins with a day off yesterday. Nats coming off an extra inning win. Nats better on the road than they are at home. With all that said, shops are already on the home dog Nats. I just can't pull the trigger to buck that trend. I don't make the numbers that high, but again, the trends are all for the Marlins. Just a side note there. Last week, me and Ben had talked about Luis Arias and his quest for 400. So just heads up, he's down to 378 already. So my number was, I don't think he'll hit 350. He's already on his way down to that.
Nope, and as a team, their bats kind of cooled off. They're hitting 300 most of last week. Now coming in, hitting 194 this week. Next game,
they were hitting 300, but they were hitting 300. Guys, their homestand was the 2 worst teams in baseball before they went on the road. Oakland and KC. So they skewed the stats a little bit there.
Then we have 2 of the most disappointing teams this year, Cardinals and the Mets, who can be a bigger disappointment this weekend. Cards coming off that blown lead against San Francisco on Wednesday. They've lost 5 straight, 2-10 their last 12. And then you have this Mets team. They're coming off a win over the Yankees. They split that 2-game set, but they're just 2-9 their last 11. So 2 teams not winning games right now. You have Nicholas going for the Cardinals. He was roughed up his last time out against Cincinnati. Prior to that, he had some decent starts. McGill, he was crushed in 3 of his last 4 starts. He's unbackable. Gave up 22 runs across 16 2/3 in his last 4 starts. Nicholas has to have the pitching edge here. This game to me is Cardinals or nobody. Like this spot for St. Louis. 2 teams just not winning games right now. Pick your poison with it. They get the pitching edge here. Both teams coming off an off day. And just tough to want to back the Mets with McGill on the mound. So for that reason alone, to me, it's Nicholas and the Cards or nobody in this game. But pick your poison with the disappointments of the season.
Yeah, I'll agree. St. Louis and nobody. But again, guys, when we say somebody and nobody, in this case, it's nobody. I don't want either of these teams going for me. And while Mikolas has a pitching advantage, no question about it, not a good outing his last time out. Gave up a couple of runs and just lasted only 5 innings the time before that. Before that, strung together a few good games. McGill's been horrible. Just 2 teams that are a disaster right now.
No.
St. Louis Cardinals, the least profitable team. The second of you lose more money on just the Kansas City Royals than you would bet if you bet $100 on the Cardinals every day. Mets not far behind. Don't want no part of this game in the first. If the Mets were a favorite, and I could take myself $1.18 to $1.20, I could go on St. Louis, but they've actually gone to the Cardinals a favorite. No way am I laying this Cardinal team right now.
And we have Rockies going to Atlanta for game 2. Braves get the win yesterday. They've won 7 of the last 8 meetings. Lamet versus Schuster. Schuster's been solid. They've won 3 of his 4 starts. Last time out, gave up 3 runs in 5 innings and went over the Nats. Lamet's been horrible, but he had a decent start last time out against the Padres. 2 earned runs in 5 innings. This is ownership here. But Braves winning 7 of the last 8 meetings. Tough to go against. They're 10-2 their last 12. Rockies put together that little 3-game win streak, but still NL worst, 13-23 on the road. Big price on this game. Wouldn't lay it with Atlanta with Schuster on the mound, but want no part of Lamet and the Rockies on the road here. Braves too hot right now. This could be a game to back the over. I mean, Atlanta might cover it single-handedly against Lamet.
Yeah, this game opened 260 on the overnight. Right now, looking at Circa at 225 and Sports 411, 225. Shots all over the Rockies. I'm not doing it. We did this last night. The game spiked up to 260. So we took 230 for 1 unit. We put the actual post up of the trends. Our trend of the day yesterday was Braves won 6 or 7 meetings last year. But that 260 number just was too big not to take Freeland, who's basically the Rockies' ace. Just couldn't get it done. He got knocked around early. Game was over by the 2nd inning. Not going to go at it again. But again, Sharps all took the Rockies in the big number in this one.
Then we have Pirates and Brewers, NL Central matchup. Rich Hill, they give him a couple extra days of rest. Last 2 starts, quality starts against those disappointing Mets and Cardinals. And how about Julio Teheran? I mean, what they've gotten out of him just completely out of nowhere. Made 3 straight quality starts, 3 earned runs, and 19 and a third. This game to me is Brewers at nothing. They won 6 of 9 meetings in Milwaukee last year. This Pirates team, we've talked about it a lot this week, just so streaky, hot and cold. And boy, they're cold right now. 2-6 their last 8. They got swept at Chicago. Brewers coming off a loss at Minnesota. They're not playing any better. They've lost 6 straight. Feels like maybe a get-right opportunity for them in this series if Pittsburgh continues to slide. A little bit of an edge there with the matchup trends. But the Rich Hill getting skipped a couple of starts, don't love that. Don't want to be backing him here in this situation. Don't know if Julio Teheran can keep it going, but against a cold Pirates team, chances are he has a good opportunity for it.
Well, Rich Hill is close to my age, so skip starts. They can just get a couple of extra days, and part of that reason is because Milwaukee cannot hit lefties. Milwaukee batting just 216 versus left-handed pitching, hitting just 211 this week. I've learned my lesson with Milwaukee. They got us twice at Minnesota. They're a floundering team. But as Ben said, Teheran, he set the clock back. This guy's come back, and all of a sudden, besides Burns, he's their best pitcher with Miley on the IL. I think the price is right. So I'll lay off this one. 2 teams struggling so bad that the Cincinnati Reds are now just 1 game back in that Central Division. So that's going to be a fun division to watch. Central Division in both leagues, guys, by far the weakest division. So really up for grabs with anybody in those 2 divisions.
And we have another division matchup. Rivalry, Giants going to L.A. Dodgers dominating this matchup lately. They won 15 of the last 7 meetings, 8 of the last 9 in L.A. They won 2 of 3 at San Francisco this season. Bullpen day for the Giants. Brebbia going to be used as an opener yet again. 4 outings this year, 5 shutout innings in June. And Sheehan, I mean, will be making his debut. Hasn't made a start yet in AAA, let alone the majors. So that's going to be a big jump for him. This game's Giants are nothing. I get the ownership there. It's a little bit worrisome. You have that jump for LA or for Sheehan. That's always going to be a problem. The Dodgers coming off an extra inning win against the White Sox. So Giants, usually this rivalry is pretty competitive. Obviously, Dodgers last year, 111 wins, absolutely dominant pace. They dominated him in the matchup. They won 2 of 3 this year so far. I feel like that ownership trend is going to loosen up a little bit this season. We'll see if that's the case. But this is a spot I feel for San Francisco.
Yeah, a little money showed up already for San Fran. Game opened at 145, and we're looking at 136 at Circa, 140 at Sports 411. As Ben said, Dodgers bringing up this kid Sheehan, dominated Double-A. Absolutely dominated there. 1.86 ERA, 88 strikeouts in just 53 and a third innings. Big, massive jump Double-A to the majors. Hasn't thrown a pitch at Triple-A. As Ben said, would have to be San Fran or no one. They've done the Brevia. They use him as an opener often. So they've got experience with it. You got Dodgers coming off the extra inning game last night. Muncy looks like he'll be out again. He missed the entire series against the White Sox. He leads the team in home runs. Giants, they had a day off after their big come-from-behind ninth inning win. They've got all the momentum in the world. And the guys that are out for the Giants are their right-handed bats. Henniger and J.D. Davis. The lefty bats are all in there. Peterson and Conforto. So Giants are nobody, but again, not big enough. Would have to take a little higher than where the opener was for me to want to get San Fran, because they've actually been dominated in L.A.
Then we have Yankees at Red Sox, the other rivalry matchup going on today. Yankees coming off that loss to the Mets. They're 3-5 their last 8. Meanwhile, you have the Red Sox. They beat the Rockies on Wednesday. They're 3-5 their last 8. Met last weekend. Sox took 2 of 3, including the Sunday night game. Maybe a little bit of a revenge factor here for the Yankees this weekend. They won 5-9 at Boston last season. Herman versus Houck. Herman definitely gets the pitching edge, coming off a pair of quality starts. He had a good start against Boston. Last time around was a quality start. And then you have Houck going, who has just been miserable in Fenway. He's 2-2, 6.19 in Boston. Sox, they've lost his last 6 starts. Was coming off a quality starts. We'll see if that carries over. He's one of those guys that has some of the worst numbers the second and third time through the lineup. I mean, you have teams hitting 360, 370 as it gets there around the lineup. So something to maybe look for if this game's close early, maybe get a live price if Houck's still in their 4th, 5th inning. But this is Yankees are knowing a little bit of revenge spot. They have the pitching edge and can't back Houck in Fenway.
Yeah, Yankees are nobody. If the price goes any higher, just want to see what that lineup's looking like. As you guys know, Judge is out, still on the IL. Yankees just can't hit with Judge out of lineup. Got to have all other hands on deck. Red Sox, they're struggling also with the sticks. They do a little better. They hit 287 at Fenway Park. Tough game in this. Give me the Herman, the better pitcher, just pitched a good game against the Red Sox when they were at Yankee Stadium last weekend. Line goes a little higher. Everybody's in. Can only be Yankees or nobody.
Then it's Blue Jays at Texas. Blue Jays lost at Baltimore yesterday. They're 2-4 their last 6. And this Rangers team coming off a loss to the Angels. They've now dropped 6 of 8. They've kind of fallen from their graces there. Gausman versus Perez. Now, Gausman roughed up his last time out, 6 runs and 4 2/3. He's had a couple of those rough starts. Outside of that, he's been pretty dominant. Did have some rough starts against the Rangers last year. Gave up 8 runs and 10 1/3. And then Perez, he's coming off a rough start as well. Gave up 7 runs and 3 2/3 at Tampa Bay. He's been different at home, though. He's had some really bad road starts at home, just 4 so far, but 3-0, 1.40 ERA in his home starts. Gotta be a Rangers or nothing here. Still one of the better teams in baseball this season. Yes, they've been cold this week. So is Toronto. They've been losing some games here. Pitching edge, you can argue Gausman, but Perez, what he's given you at home has been excellent so far. So for this price on this game, can't make Toronto this high. It has to be Texas or no one.
Yeah, Guzman hit hard his last time out. Guzman hit hard by Texas last year. Perez has been awful on the road. Different pitcher at home. He pitched a good game against the Rangers last year. Give me the team with the 3rd best home record in baseball and the best offense, although they've been struggling a little bit now as a home dog. Both teams struggling. So, yeah, Guzman gets the pitching edge, but not enough to make a 500 on the road Toronto team that big a favorite at Texas. As I said, Texas, your best offensive team of the year with the 3rd best home record. I'll take the Rangers in this one as the home dog.
Then Angels at Kansas City. If you guys remember a few weeks back, Atlanta coming off that series against Philly, then they go cross country and they get Oakland in that first spot. Similar spot here. You have Angels coming off a great series against Texas. They've now won 4 or 5. They're 9-2 their last 11. Playing good ball right now. Sandoval on the bump, he's been miserable. They lost his last 5 starts. Last 2 gave up 11 runs and 8 1/3. Senior going for Kansas City. He gave up 4 runs and 4 1/3. He's more or less their ace, but that doesn't say too much. He last time against Baltimore, prior to that, he was pretty decent, 2 runs and 10 2/3. This game is a spot for Kansas City. The question is, do you want to be backing this team who has been just abysmal? 9 straight now, scoring 2.88 runs per game. They have scored 4 runs in each of the last 4. Bats starting to wake up a little bit. And this pitching matchup could just be an over game. Angels have been hitting. Sandoval's been getting cracked. Singer's been getting cracked a good amount of the season. Could be an overplay. Angels letdown spot. Casey or nobody. If anyone has the balls to back the Royals, let me know.
Yeah, I don't. Look, this is a spot. It's a great spot. As you said, as Ben said, you get the Angels coming off that big series with division lead in Texas. Going to go to the worst team in baseball. But again, they're coming off that game. Got to travel. KC was off. Terrible losing streak. Angels, they're going to be limited. They're going to be very short-handed for infielders. They just put Zach Neto, the shortstop, on the IL yesterday. Urshela left yesterday's game. Rendon stayed in the game with a bad hand, didn't swing the rest of his at-bats after initially hurting a hand. They'll be short-handed in the infield. Just watching some moves here, guys. A big move on the Cubs. We'll get to that shortly with Hendricks. He pitched a great game of one hit over 8 innings. But, yeah, so Angels, possible letdown, short-handed on the infield. The spot's just not worth it. They didn't make it high enough for me to be on the worst team in baseball that is dropped. Is it 9 straight now? Also, Salvi Perez, who leads the team in homers, RBIs, and batting average, left the last game, and he's going to be questionable tonight. So I'll stay off this one. We'll see what the lineups look like and what the line looks like later.
Then we have Tigers at Minnesota. Tigers get the win yesterday. It's going to be Ryan on the mound for the Twins. He's been solid. Last 2 starts, quality starts. He dominated Detroit last year, 4-0, .76 ERA. Still waiting on a Detroit picture in the box, so can't give you guys too much on this game. I do lean to the Tigers on the series as a whole. I mean, I liked them yesterday. They pull it out. Yes, Ryan owned them, so did Gray. But the Tigers team's been hitting these last couple of games. I mean, 2-2 their last 4, scoring 6.5 runs per game, hitting .296 this week. So bats have woken up. Have to see who they're going with in pitching-wise today. But if they can get anyone who can keep them in it, bats been going better than Minnesota lately.
Yeah, Ben called this one yesterday. I said, Ben, I just don't see it. You got a Twins team that's dominated them. You have Gray that's dominated them personally. Detroit coming off the doubleheader and traveling. Minnesota feeling good after sweeping Milwaukee. Just didn't see any value there. And when the Twins jumped up 4-1, I says, I told you, Ben. But Ben come back to win that one. Today, no pitcher in the box yet for Detroit, so we're not going to go through it. Same scenario. Minnesota still dominated them in Minnesota last year. Ryan, another one. Great success against them last year. I really can't bet the Tigers in this spot, but we'll see what the number is and who the pitcher is.
And White Sox at Seattle. White Sox coming off an extra inning loss against the Dodgers last night. The Mariners, they lost to the Marlins 4-1 Wednesday. They've won 3 of 5, scoring 5.6 runs per game. Want the White Sox in this spot. I really wanted them last night until that game went into extra innings. It's Kopech. He's been solid. He went 2-1, 1.72 his last 5 starts, coming off 5 shutout innings. Woo, he's made 2 starts. First one was horrendous against the Rangers, but his last one was solid, 2 runs and 4 2/3, 7 Ks, 1 walk against the Angels. Pitching edge absolutely to Kopech. I mean, pitching mismatch for Kopech in this matchup. So that in itself is enticing there for the White Sox. They have been struggling a little bit. Just tough coming off that extra inning game and then traveling up. So White Sox are no one in this spot. Maybe if we get, definitely wait for lineups on the White Sox. Maybe they might be sitting someone. If lineups are full, if everyone's in, could be a spot there to bet Chicago.
Yeah, same thing, Ben. We keep talking about it. White Sox ready to take that next step. They've got their mound Cease. They've got a 4-0 lead. But Cease, it took him 102 pitches to complete just the 3rd inning yesterday. Part of that's because he had 10 Ks. So the White Sox bullpen had to come up with 4 2/3 innings of relief. You're back-to-back after extra innings. They're going to travel to Seattle that had the day off. As Ben said, Kopech pitching real good baseball lately. Big pitching advantage. Just that this, you don't know what you're getting, what White Sox team's going to show up. They haven't been hitting the ball. So we'll see where that number goes right now. You're looking at about 130 at Circa, 135 at Sports 411. So in this spot, it's White Sox or no one. But we'll wait to make that decision later in the day as we're getting some lineups now.
Then it's Orioles at Cubbies. Cubbies playing good ball right now, sweeping the Pirates. They've won 5 of 6. They're scoring 9.3 runs per game in that series against Pittsburgh. And they've kind of turned ship a little bit this week. We'll see if that continues against the best road team in the AL. The Orioles 21-12. They're on the road. Big credit to the Orioles front office, what they did with Irvin. So Irvin, horrible in April. Send him down, bring him back up. He had a good year last year with Oakland. And they were smart. Brought him back up for that first start against Kansas City. 1 run in 5 1/3. That's a good way to get your pitcher some confidence going. Hendricks missed a lot of the seasons, made 4 starts. The fourth start, 1 hit, 8 shutout innings against San Francisco. Big outing last time out. This is pitching edge still to Hendricks, the way he went last time out. Giving them some decent outings last year as well. Was solid in Chicago last year. This game to me is Cubbies are nothing. You have Brewers and Pirates who are basically giving away the division right now for whoever wants it. Cardinals aren't competitive. Chicago and Reds putting on a run for it. Cubs playing good ball. Irvin, yes, great start his first time back against Kansas City. I need to see it again against a team who just scored 9.3 runs per game against Pittsburgh. I need to see it against someone other than Kansas City. So spot in this series for the Cubs. They got to keep it rolling while the rest of the division's falling apart. And Irvin, I don't have enough faith in that yet, John.
Yeah, and look, he's sneaking up. The Cubs are sneaking up on that whole division. You get the 500 division. Barely over 500 is going to wind up winning that division. So Cubs getting hot at the right time. Hendricks, they got Hendricks back. Like I said, a great outing his last time out. 1 hit and 8 shutout innings. He'll go at it. And as Ben said, loved what the Orioles did with Irvin. This was their free agent pickup to send him down. Takes big ones, if you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They also did that with this the kid Rodriguez, Grayson Rodriguez, who just by chance last night had 11 Ks in his AAA outing. Second game in a row, he's got double-digit strikeouts. So sometimes getting sent down, little less competition, built up that confidence, work on what's not working. Maybe that'll work for a guy like Manoah.
No.
Getting sent down, not the worst thing in the world. So Irvin come back with a much better outing his last time out. Let's see what he does up against the Cubs. That's an afternoon game, by the way, 2:20. We'll be getting the lineups any moment for that. And as a matter of fact, here they come. Let me just make sure nobody's out. Got to remember, guys, Orioles already missing 2 of their bats, Cedric Mullins and Ryan Mountcastle. Mountcastle, who leads the team in home runs and RBIs, both on the injured list. They're sticking with Gunnar Henderson in the leadoff spot. Orioles, Rushman and Santander in, Hayes, all the usual suspects, and Cubbies look like they've got everybody except Bellinger. Bellinger was activated yesterday. He'll sit versus the lefty Irvin. So that's pretty much the lineup stand. Nothing that we didn't expect. A little bit high on this game. Orioles, best road record in the American League. This line now sitting at $1.22 at both Circa and 411. So I got a little lean to the Orioles here, even though Hendricks pitched a great game his last time out.
Then it's Reds at Houston. Cincinnati playing good ball right now, taking care of business against Kansas City. They're 8-2 their last 10. Take it with a little bit of grain of salt. AL and NL worse. Kansas City and St. Louis, last 2 teams they've faced. But even before that, they were playing good ball against Milwaukee and the Dodgers. Houston team coming off extra inning loss against the Nats. They won 2 of 3 in the series. They're just 3-6 their last 9. Abbott versus France. How about Abbott? 2 starts. He's been great so far. 11 2/3 shutout baseball. 10 Ks, 7 walks. Then you have France coming. He's had 2 straight quality starts. He's had some struggles in Houston. 5.94 ERA in 3 starts. Big price, 8-2, their last 10. Cincinnati, I mean, they were even money pretty much that entire series against the worst team in baseball, Kansas City. Just feels like odd makers aren't quite giving them the respect they deserve yet. Playing good ball right now. Obviously, baseball is a long season, a lot of streaks, but they're streaking the right direction. This is Cincy or nobody.
We took 163 first thing this morning, guys, and the best line you could take right now would be plus with 151, which is a high number at Circa. Everybody else around the 146, 147 number. So yeah, we pounced on this. Cincy, red hot. Abbott hasn't given up an earned run yet. Not crazy about the K walk ratio, a little too many walks, but hasn't given up a run yet. France hasn't been great at home. Houston coming off the extra inning game last night. While the Reds were off, they're going to be again without Jordan Alvarez, their best power hitter, their best hitter. So yeah, just a ridiculous number. This game, even at plus 151 at Circus still to take, I can guarantee you that number will even go lower.
And we have Guardians at Arizona. It's Gallen versus McKenzie. Cleveland coming off that win against San Diego. The D-backs struggling a little bit here. Just lost 3 straight against Philly, scoring 3.3 runs per game there in those 3 games. They are second best in the NL, 41 and 28 on the season. Gallen at home, my goodness, 6-0, 0.96 ERA, 60 Ks, 7 walks, absolutely lights out. Not even going to think about going against that. McKenzie, 2 starts. First one was good. Second one roughed up by Houston. He still has a little bit to go before he's going to be back to his full self, before they have a longer leash, going longer in the games, everything else. So pitching edge has to be Gallen here. Yes, he was roughed up last time out, but it was a road start. Put that aside. Look at those home numbers. No reason to go against that. D-backs are no one here in a bounce-back spot.
Yeah, not bucking an ERA of under 1 at home. Absolutely not. Diamondbacks stayed home, had the day game yesterday. Cleveland's got to travel after the night win in San Diego. Let's see if they're going to come with everybody in their lineup today. I make the number right there. Arizona now 3 straight losses at home to a Philly team that's not a good road team. Was one of our losses yesterday. So we'll wait and see. But I think the number's right. Again, it all depends on lineups and where the line moves later if we'll get interested in this game.
And Phillies, who just beat up on D-backs, going on to Oakland. Phillies playing good ball right now. They've 10-2 their last 12, scoring 7.8 runs per game their last 5, hitting 300 this week. Offense is going. And then you have Oakland, who's now dropped a pair after the 7-game win streak against Tampa Bay. Walker versus Sears. Walker's been great lately, but a couple of home starts. He's been brutal on the road, 3-3, 6.75 and 8 starts. And Sears, he's been really good at home. Still think this is one of the more impressive stats on the year. Excuse me. 0-0 record with a 2.57 ERA at home. So not having any losses as a pitcher for the Oakland A's at home, I think that's impressive in itself. Keeping you in games beyond the 5th inning. This is, in my opinion, A's are nobody. You have Phillies coming in, letdown spot, go into Arizona, the best team in baseball. Yes, Phillies bats red hot right now, tough to go against. I just think with the pitching edge here with Sears, Walker's road struggles, very similar to me to that letdown opportunity Atlanta had when they went on in there. So Sears and the Oakland A's are nothing here for me, John.
Sharp guys agree with you, Ben. This line opened up minus 145 last night, the overnight line. It is right now down to 130 at Circa and 125 at Sports 411. So all the money's coming in on Oakland. Look, Oakland 2 weeks ago was the worst team in baseball. Let's call it 10 days ago was the worst team in baseball. They had a phenomenal 7-game winning streak. Pretty much the pinnacle being the reverse boycott day. They beat the best team that day. They go on to lose the next 2 games. Just got the feeling that they kind of revert back to the A's, who they really are. I'll call KC still the worst team in baseball right now. Oakland still the 29th worst team in baseball. So, we were on Walker. His last time out gave us a great performance. I just don't see the value because I just feel Oakland going to revert back. I'm not advocating for Phillies in absolute no way, but I think they're red hot. I don't think there's a letdown here. Philly's got a lot of making up to do to get back in the race. They'll have to do so by beating teams like Oakland. Just no value in this one for me.
Then it's Rays at San Diego. San Diego's bats have heated up. They did drop that game last night against the Guardians, but 5-2 their last 7, hitting 275 this week. Tampa coming off a 4-game split against Oakland. They're 3-3 since the 7-game win streak. This is Rays are nothing. McClanahan versus Darvish. Darvish, he was roughed up his last time out, but it was at Coors. Take it with a grain of salt. He's been very good at home, 2-2, 2.68. But how are you going to make McClanahan a PK against anybody in this league? Any team, any pitcher, I don't really care who. McClanahan, 4 of his last 5 starts, quality starts. Last one against Texas, best offense in baseball. See no reason to go against Tampa Bay McClanahan here. I know a lot of people are going to say this is the classic where people will start saying it's bait, this and that. Forget about it. The value in itself, McClanahan at a PK price, you got to take the race here.
Look, and it's the Sharps who moved this. Tampa Bay was a 115 favorite on the overnight, and it's now basically a pick'em game, as Ben said. McClanahan, last 5 starts, guys, 3-1, 1.93 ERA. 4 of the 5 are quality starts. The only one that wasn't, he went 5 2/3 innings against the Cubs, so that would have been a quality start also. Look, Darvish, real good at home, always is. Big difference. This is not the same Darvish, though. This is not the same Darvish of years past. McClanahan is one of the top pitchers in baseball on the team with the best record. Not red hot anymore. We told you there'll be some drawback, but a pick, cheap price for one of the best pitchers in the game right now. Yeah, San Diego bats are back. I see it. Tatis is red hot. Machado's picking up the pace. Bogut's back in the lineup. They can do some damage. I just can't make this line a pick 'em with McClanahan on the mound. Only reason I haven't bet it yet is because the action's only going one way. We will wait at this point to see the lineups and where the line goes. But again, it'll be Tampa Bay or nobody for me.
We'll see where exactly that line goes. See if in some of these lineups, sometimes on the Friday, we get random guys getting the night off before the weekend. We'll see if that's the case in any of these matchups. As you guys know, if you guys want to be updated on all of these, couple of matchups still haven't had pitchers in the box yet. You guys will be updated on the How to Beat the Bookie website. Go to howtobeatthebookie.com or download the app. You guys can become a member there. Get all this insight. John, pretty solid Friday slate we have coming up with these weekend matchups.
Absolutely. Just give me 1 second, Ben. They're just popping up a little info box. Oh, not much. This is it's for the Cubs. They're just saying that Steele is now upgraded to start tomorrow against the Orioles. So Steele, who's been out for the last couple of weeks, he'll be in the box tomorrow. As far as that first game, that Oriole game, like I said, all the money pouring in on the Cubs. Hendricks did pitch a great game his last time out. Irvin was he was awful in April. He was on auto fade. They sent him down, looked a little better. We'll see how he looks today. Orioles are nobody for me in that one. And that's it. We get a big start on the weekend. Want to get this bus rolling in the right direction. Let's make it happen, guys.
Yeah, by the way, guys, sorry for yesterday's upload issues. YouTube kept cutting it short, so there's different issues, how to upload it, take it down a few times. Hopefully no more with that today. But as always, appreciate you guys in the comments, liking, subscribing. All the support on this helps, so appreciate you guys doing that. And, do it again. Like, comment, subscribe, and do that. John, we got a winner last night. Hopefully it carries into the weekend. Let's make some money.
You guys have a great weekend. A happy Father's Day for all you fathers out there, and let's make some money.